Hello guys and welcome. I would like to explain to you certain World of Tanks basics for people who just started playing or had a couple of hundred battles and struggling a little bit. Certain of the things that I will point out even happens to people who have tier 10, so don't worry if you don't understand something. So I reduced my graphics. As you can see, it's very ugly. I am miles away from the European servers, which I typically play on. Right now I'm traveling to South Korea, so very far certain logs I reduced the graphics to make it reasonable, bearable. So, World of Tanks. First and most important thing, we have different types of tanks. Light, medium, heavy, tank destroyers, SPGs. Light, they're light tanks, little bit of armor, should be fast, they go and they spot, they detect other tanks. That's their primary goal. Medium tanks are a little bit stronger than light, not as fast, but typically have stronger cannons, and they can be at the front line as well with the heavy tanks, but they're faster. They're not supposed to receive heavy damage, they're supposed to go out, shoot, and go back into the hiding place. Or behind the wall, behind the corner. Heavy tanks, strong tanks, which can go to the front line and attack and destroy the enemies. They can withstand the damage. That's their purpose, to be in the front line. Tank destroyers. Tank destroyers are designed to stay at the back. They typically view very far, typically not always, and from the distance they can generate a massive damage. They either have a few shots, but each shot delivers enormous damage, or they shoot very fast with a little damage, depending on which country, which branch you research and use. Tank destroyers, because they generate doesn't matter if they're shooting a few shots with a massive damage or many shots with a little, they typically generate a massive damage per minute, and therefore they have significant weaknesses. Typically they don't have turning turns, they're always looking forward, they're most of the time they're rather slow, and other weaknesses as well. And finally we have SPGs, artillery, stays at the back, it can arch, the shots are going in an arc, and that's their main advantage. It's a completely different game style, completely different aspect. They're slow, and I would say rather boring. But there are certain artilleries which are fast and reload very fast, so different approach, but it's a completely different game when it comes to SPGs. So, how you decide which tank you want to use, you'll play a little bit, you'll understand what's going on with it, but which characteristics are most important. So, let's take Hellcat, which is one of the most popular tanks in tier 6, and it's most popular because it has amazing view range. Okay, its view range is 370 compared to other tanks in tier 6. I don't have very too many. Cromwell 360, this one 360, SU 350, KV-1S 330. Okay, the effective range is 330. Now, just to give you an understanding what this range means, it's how soon you see the tank. So if Hellcat is facing 3 KV-1S, even though this one has 810 points and Hellcat has 570, Hellcat can generate about 300 points of damage, and KV can generate over 400. Chances are Hellcat will win. Okay, one-on-one, Hellcat will win because it will notice KV-1S way ahead of time. It will make at least one shot extra. Okay, it reloads much faster, so it will by the time KV-1S actually shoots at Hellcat will reduce this guy at least to 200 points. Okay, if there is no ricochets. Okay, that's a different story. Hellcat has no armor. On the other hand, it has only 12, where KV has 75. So the chances are you will ricochet. But if you know where to shoot, where to aim, your chances of success are significantly higher. I prefer to play with Hellcat, and I love destroying KVs a lot. Now, as you notice, the armor here is 12. Another tank that has a similar armor is T1. Okay, it has 10. They 6 tiers apart, completely different tanks, but this one has 10, Hellcat has 12. So just to give you an idea, it's a great tank, but it has a paper armor. So this is the huge disadvantage of a Hellcat. Sometimes it even ricochets from KV-1S or even stronger tanks, but the chances are it will be destroyed within 2 shots. And certain tanks, even in the tier 6, can destroy it with 1 shot. Even in the tier 5, KV-1 can destroy Hellcat with 1 shot from its gun. So each tank has its own good sides and bad sides. Your goal is to find and capitalize on the good things and try to avoid the bad things as much as possible. So view range is important. Next thing for me is important is how good this thing aims. Okay, 35 is a really good aiming versus this guy, which has 46. So accuracy, the lower the number, the better it is. So accuracy is much better on a Hellcat. Okay, significantly better. Aiming time is next thing, which is very important for me. This is how soon you can actually focus and hit accurately the other tank. As you can see, KV-1S takes 3.4 seconds. That's really painful. Okay, if you ever play with these tanks, you will realize if you compare the two. So this one is more accurate, aims much faster, and shoots significantly faster. Okay, this shoots 3 times, almost 4 times a minute, This one shoots almost 8 times a minute. Okay, huge difference in time. So while Hellcat shoots almost 3 shots, KV1S shoots 1. Okay, so one versus the other, Hellcat always wins just by the timing, because by the time this guy focuses and shoots, Hellcat will already destroy. So, but it doesn't work all the time. Remember, that one has armor that can generate significantly more damage. Hits ammo rack, destroys the tank. Hellcat unlikely to hit an ammo rack on KV1S and destroy it with one shot. So certain advantages and disadvantages. Next thing in terms of advantage is the speed and how quickly your turn turns. So for example, this guy actually has 28 versus Hellcat has 16. It's extremely slow. For me, this is the main disadvantage, not the armor, but how slow the turn is. You're pretty much focusing into one direction. If something is spinning around you, it can actually kill you. If it's a little bit like Cronville, for example, will destroy Hellcat, because it will just move around. The turn here turns at 48, so it will destroy Hellcat if it comes into the close range. I had a battle riding LCIMX. This one has no turn, like it doesn't turn, so you actually need to drive around and focus and point directly, and I destroy a couple of Hellcats, even though I don't have a turret on this thing. It has certain angle that it can hit, but because Hellcat turn is so slow, you can destroy it. So you need to know your advantages and disadvantages, and based on that you can actually compensate with certain add-ons that you can purchase in the store for silver or for gold. I don't spend money on the game, or pretty much don't spend anything. So depending on the tank, you can and you want to increase certain skills, loading time, focusing time. So here, KV1S, the loading time is painful, so you put a loader, it takes away 10% of the loading time, and you want to focus a little bit faster, so another 10% there. It costs money, it's expensive, but it's worth it. So when you buy your equipment, you either improve good things and make them better, or you make the weaknesses less weaker. Okay, on all of my equipment I put ventilation, because it adds 5%. Not everybody agrees with this logic, but I'll give you simple math. 2 identical tanks standing one in front of the other, they shoot each other at the same, start shooting at exactly the same time, and they do exactly the same damage. This because of the 5% to all crew members will load 5% faster. Okay, so that 13 seconds of loading time. Okay, yeah, close to 17 seconds loading time becomes almost a second less. Okay, which means I will make one shot sooner, and I will deliver the final shot. Okay, so I apply this to all of my tanks. Same thing, you have skills, perks that you can apply to your crew members. First thing that I apply is the Brothers in Arms. It adds 5% to all skills, which means loading, turning, shooting, aiming, all those skills are a little bit faster, 5% faster. And it is very important. It does make a difference. Even though the change, sometimes it's a half a second, a quarter a second, tenth of a second, still makes a difference. So few things about the skills. Certain skills and perks only work at 100%. So I prefer to take a skill which works right away, train it, and get a little bit more, close to 120%. So once it actually reached 100%, I don't choose another skill. I wait a little bit more, about 40-50 battles. Then I take it down and I switch it to another skill which can work, which only works at 100%. So for example, if I drop now, I have right now one skill 100% and 86. If I drop and I take free, I'll lose 10%. If I pay a little bit money, I lose 4%. If I pay gold, which is actual money, then I don't lose anything. So what I do, I take one skill, I train it to 100%. I come here, I see when I drop and I pay silver. And when I see one remains 100% and one has 1%, that's when I drop it. I choose a skill which works at 100%. And this way, even though I lost 10%, I for 100% of the time, I had some skills working for me, some perks working for me, versus not to lose 10%, but at the same time, for a very long period, you don't have any help of the skill or perk. Okay, so this is the basics. You choose a tank, you look at the weaknesses, but different weaknesses of one tank is a strength of another. So you need to understand that. Okay, the fact that this guy only sees 330, it means it should never be in an open space. It should be hiding, should be in a city where the view range, the distance doesn't really matter. You're hiding between the buildings. This guy, you need to know its strength, it's good, it sees from the far, which means it needs to stay at the far and shoot from there. Okay, so let's look into the game and look at the game dynamics itself. This is not the best map for Hellcat, because lots of buildings, you cannot, you don't get that advantage of your view range. Okay, important thing, map. Map should be big, so you'll see exactly what's going on, who needs help, where's the weak points, where the enemies are. Okay, and then once you play, you'll understand where what's the best positions for your tank. I'll try to go to the rails and see if I can be useful there. Okay, once again I have 300 milliseconds ping. It is lagging, it will be lagging, but what can I do? So as you can see, with my basic view range, I can see very far. Okay, I don't need to go into the battle, I can stay from the far and hopefully destroy something, do some damage, spot, assist. I must utilize that view range. Okay, ready. I should be seeing someone shortly. If you're standing for 20 seconds and you don't see anything, you don't shoot anybody, you should be relocating from that spot. Okay, unless you're holding a position and you're the only one, like this is your job to keep that position. Okay, then it's fine. Otherwise, you should not be standing at the same point for more than 20 seconds without doing anything. Okay, we have Jag here going forward. Daring move, but that's okay. I'm covering him, and there's RD, and there's a BDR on the other side, so that's fine. We're going to move a little bit forward, because if something pops up, he will be there to protect me, hopefully. But I'm always paying attention to the map. Every 5 seconds, you look at the map, seeing what's going on there. The ideal situation is where 3 tanks approach 1, okay? Why is that? 3 tanks typically will destroy same tank of the same class with the single shot, okay? 3 tanks, see the same tank, each one shoot once, and here you go, you killed it. I shouldn't miss. Okay, let's make fun of them. Where did you go? Say goodbye. Focus. Always wait till the focus is complete. Never shoot before with open. You will miss 99% of the time on a crucial shot, so don't even try it. Like, unless you know... Hello. Unless you know that the other guy will reload faster than you are, okay? Then that's your only chance. Okay, so everything is done here. Let's go back because we have certain people coming to our base. We already won. We captured the base. So this wasn't that bad. Even though I don't like this map for Hellcat, it's not the best one. Okay, I did most of the damage. I scored most of the points compared to everybody else. Overall, not too bad. I can do much better. Missed one. So not too bad. So let me show you how artillery works and what's the logic behind it. It has a completely different gameplay. First of all, you notice it has those lines. So between these lines, it will focus. If you move a little bit, you need to wait another 8 seconds. Well, depending on artillery, this one, almost 8 seconds to focus. So you want to be in a corner and cover some big chunk of a big area. Okay, so you don't need to turn left and right. So typically they're hiding like in a corner, and from there they can shoot and not turn too much. That's very important. Starting level 5. In artillery, pretty much every SPG can reach from any corner of the map to any corner of the map. In the early levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, they're not as successful. Okay, you don't have the same sniper mode as you can see. Okay, it's completely different because you're shooting in an arc. So this is where you need those spotters. You need the light tanks to go out and find you a target so you can destroy it. My artillery, as you can see here, 23.3, that's how long it takes it to reload. 23 seconds, that's not the worst case. So we know for a fact that here we'll have some enemies. You see my focusing, how long it takes? Otherwise I will miss. And depending on the mode, it tell you 2.9 seconds to fly here. So I need to predict where the enemy tank is going to be in 2.1 seconds. Okay, we have an enemy here. Probably will shoot. Typically you shoot ahead of the enemy, through the enemy, not at the top of it. Okay, so somewhere here, or this guy. Okay, thinks he's hiding behind the wall. Let's make this count. Moved forward, we missed. We're now waiting and waiting. Okay, this is where it becomes very boring. So last time we've seen it here. I'll hold the button here, waiting, and we go. Okay, I did some damage. Even though I didn't hit it directly, I did cause a damage. Good thing about artillery is they can damage equipment, lots of equipment, so the tank becomes very useless. This is how you target. You don't aim at the tank itself, but slightly behind it. but if it moves far away, you have a chance to miss. So that's why playing with artillery is very, very painful. Okay, I don't really like it. Okay, I shot ahead of it and I hit it. Okay, so it takes 12 seconds for it to repair the caterpillars. By that time it will be gone. So let's target another one. Okay, so we're going to move a little bit, just a little bit, and as you can see, we're focusing and focusing, and it takes forever. This guy's, here it is, shooting at me, and I missed. Okay, so these guys really suck. They were not supposed to let it happen, but they did, and therefore they will pay with the game. They will lose this spot. So let me show you a different type of a game. This guy, completely different approach, completely different style. It's fast. The gun is relatively good, but you have no turning point. It's similar to artillery, but with a sniper mode. But it's extremely fast. So what I typically do with this thing, this is typically a suicide. You go very close to the enemy and you spot, you show the enemy. Now, you have to do it relatively smart. Because if I expose lots of enemies, but there is nobody who's going to shoot at them, I literally died for nothing. Okay, that's a real suicide. The suicide mission should be that I expose the enemy, and there's somebody who's going to cover me, shoot at them. Otherwise, I'll be dying in the aim. So, running on ILC with this log is actually a horrible idea. Okay, because every millisecond is counting here. Okay, so I'm spotting somebody. I'm spotting two guys. I cannot shoot. It's pointless. This thing cannot do it. Okay, here, look at the red line here. Anybody shooting? No. Okay, so we know that they're going, where they're going, who's going. But if nobody's shooting, they're actually shooting at me now. It's not really good. Okay, so now we're hiding for a couple of seconds. Hopefully there's going to be a reinforcement soon enough. Now I'm big distraction. Okay, I am a distraction for these guys. They're all focusing on me. And if my team is not 100% morons, okay, they will use it for our advantage. Okay, they will shoot. So far, they're not doing it. While the enemy actually destroys me. Okay, so I did my best. This is a suicide mission. And as I can see from this place here, our team was very much useless. Okay, didn't generate much of a damage. Lots of information, but they didn't put it in a good use. So I did a good suicide. I showed lots of tanks. These guys were supposed to be blazing them. They didn't do that. Consequences, my death was very much unnecessary. But this is, if you're doing a suicide mission, it should be something like this. We'll see if this wins eventually or not. And I'll show you this guy, the heavy guy. I don't really like it that much. It's a good machine, but once again, the loading time is really painful. Let's see, I haven't played this guy for quite some time. So, it is heavy, it should be in the front line, so we're going to be front line. Wish me luck. I have relatively trained crew here, so it doesn't load so painfully, but still, you need to know how to battle with this thing when you have 13.2 seconds to reload, okay? This means you need to predict a way that after you shoot something, or somebody, you have a place to go back, okay? That's very important. If you shot and destroyed, good, but if you shot and you missed, they will come out at you, and they will finish their job, and they will finish you. So it's very important that you always have an escape route, plan B, plan C, call it whatever you like, okay? Otherwise, you're going to lose. So you always need to have a hideout. When you have 13 seconds to reload, you must have a hideout, a corner, edge of a building, anything that you can hide behind. Okay, they have one artillery. Okay, we have a square, which means we need to be hiding somewhere where artillery will not hit us. Okay, behind big rocks. Okay, you see, focusing very, very slow, painfully slow. Okay, I waited and I got hit once or twice. Once. So that's why focusing, when it's taking forever, it is brutal. Okay, waiting. You see what I'm talking about, where I care about focusing faster? So next time I exit, I may die. So let's not do that. Well, as you can see on the map, it actually showed me that my ALC game, we actually won. We'll see what the stats were there. As you can see, I'm on the front line. Hellcat not supposed to be here, but if he knows what he's doing, if he's quick with his fingers, he can be very successful. Okay, so this guy is sitting down, and here's the artillery boom. And you see, he's blocking my shot. He killed the tank, but he blocked my shot. This is not nice. So I want to show you a different type of game with T110E4. It's a tank destroyer. It's very, it can generate a massive damage, but it takes 16 seconds to reload. It's fairly slow, so it needs to stay back in a fair distance and be careful about it. We have lots of mediums in this game, which is very unique. And pretty much this is deadly for me. Okay, they're fast, they can spin around any tank, so I need to stay really far back, otherwise I will not make it alive. So you need to see and understand which tanks are in the battle with you're facing. So 16 seconds to reload, so you need lots of space. You need to be very far away because those mediums will reach me and will destroy me. For every tank there is a different position on the map. For every tank there is a different job on a different map. So, and it only comes with the experience. You need good 400 battles with every single tank to understand its all good and bad qualities. You will understand the bad ones very fast, but the good ones takes time to discover. Okay, missing something like this is very expensive. This is 4,000 silver, which is very expensive. To play a battle and actually have a positive account is extremely rare. On average, this tank I think minus 11,000. Some are more expensive, and when you die, it's even significant. It's even worse. So even winning is painful. Losing is much worse. So this guy, I don't know what he's doing in the back of the map. He is completely useless there. I'm the only one covering this corridor on the left, which is not a good thing. Remember, I told you if you're sitting for 20 seconds doing nothing, that's not a good sign, but nobody's here. So this is my job, and here I got a first guest. And he will go forward soon. Okay, and we actually managed to sustain it, to survive that first guest. Wow, we have somebody at the back. That's not a good thing. Another very important thing is the angle that your turret goes up and down. Okay? Because certain tanks have it really good, certain tanks have it really bad. Like you facing this high all the time, so you need it gives a huge disadvantage. This is something people don't take into account, and it's not displayed very well on the game itself. You actually need to go to wiki and find it there. So the angle, how high you can lift your gun or lower it, is very, very important, and it's a valuable thing. Okay, so 704 is a deadly beast, and as you can see, 700 damage. Okay, I knew that he's going to shoot, and I had to escape. It was more important to escape versus hit him or miss him. So I took a shot, and well, it was a ricochet. The two tanks which are left are very dangerous tanks. There is no chance they're going to win, but they still can take few guys with them. This British one, the 183, can hit and kill a tank with one single shot. So basically I showed you a little bit of everything. More or less you'll get an idea of what things to look for, okay, and based on that you'll understand what's going on. So you see, I didn't. I got a little bit of damage, and so you lose credits on in this with these tanks. They don't show the arc here. If you go to wiki, and you search for the tank, and this is a very important thing before you go to any branch and you look at the tanks, look at the stats. So American tank destroyer. So here it is. And here's your elevation arc. -6 plus 12, okay? The bigger those numbers, the better in both directions. The -6, the negative one, is the most important one, which means you can lower your gun while climbing the hill. This is a very important value. You cannot see it in the game when you buy your tank. So before you get somewhere, especially if you're aiming in the tech tree and you're searching something very far, you should test it, you should try it. By the way, there is such thing as a test server. Lots of Russians are playing there, mostly Russians are playing there. It's only located in Russia. But they give you tons of money, and you can play before the new update is released. And you can buy any tank. It actually gives you all the tanks that you already have, and then you can explore. You have 100 millions of gold, 100 millions of silver, and you can buy and try any tank for that period of time. So it's kind of fun. And there you can actually get a better idea about which branch to go when it comes to going all the way to the tier 10s. But before that, you can actually do a little research and understand what's going on. In my personal opinion, I did lots of fun. On the test server, I tried E7 versus E4. I prefer E4. Okay, so this is my personal preference, and eventually I'll get it, maybe. I did this branch, and it's fun up to here, and then this is kind of all boring and very hard to go through, extra painful. These are fun. Almost all Americans are more or less fun. They're relatively balanced. But for example, Hellcat comparing to T25, T25 is garbage. T28 is very slow and a completely different game versus Hellcat or T25, so different game styles. I didn't play much with the Hellcat, with the French ones, so I don't know, but their heavy branch in the battle, this one is really good, especially starting with 5010, 5100. The 5100 is really good, but I don't know how painful it is to get there. I know it was very painful to get from 12 ton to 1375, and it's taking me forever to get to 1390. So in British, I played a little bit with everything, trying to get to this guy, which is not too great. But Churchill, this and this, garbage. Absolutely bad tanks. I love Matilda, and one of my favorite tanks. Absolutely loved it. But Churchill, all of them. Black Prince was okay, comparing how painful this was. This one is actually not too bad. I'm still keeping it, and Conqueror is okay. But these three were very painful. I haven't played with Chinese, haven't a little bit with Japanese. There's not much of a choice. So if you're going to develop this branch, I know that STA1 is a good tank. Playing against it is painful. So this is a few things before you go. Before you start playing with any tank, go to YouTube, find it. There's lots of videos about every tank out there, and you'll understand what's going on, which equipment to buy, how to equip your crew, which ammunition to use, all those things. Final suggestion, recommendation: when you put your consumables, I always put fire extinguisher on 4, repair kit on 5, and also first aid. It's a must. You absolutely have to have them. But what you do. The most common thing that's being shot is your caterpillar. So if you need to fix them fast, it's 5-5. Its caterpillars are always 5, so I put it on 5. If somebody hits and I want to escape very fast, 5-5. That's very convenient. So that's it, guys. That was long enough of a video. Enjoy the game. If you have questions, let me know. I may create another tutorial for you, and hopefully it will be useful and you'll enjoy the game. Thank you. Bye-bye.